Scotland coach Gregor Townsend will surely be putting the finishing touches to his Six Nations squad, and one man hoping to be included is Glasgow hooker Fraser Brown, who credits his national coach for the resurrection of his professional career.
Yeah, he's had a huge influence, obviously, Gregor. It kind of popped me out of club rugby in Scotland. You know, it took me a little while to find my feet at Glasgow, but then once I did, you know, he's been key in just sort of instilling confidence in me. And you know, what he's really good at is seeing the players that he's got on the pitch and finding the best things for them to be doing on the pitch. So, you know, whether you're a great athlete, so you're good out in the wide channels, or you've got great handling ability, he's good at getting those players involved in the game very quickly so you can try and get the most out of them. So, you know, he's been a massive influence on how I played, particularly at Glasgow and now at Scotland.
Before Townsend's intervention, the 29-year-old hooker had been plagued by injury, resulting in his release from Edinburgh and a subsequent bout of depression.
You know, I had a tough time when I was sort of in my teens, in my early 20s. You know, I suffered from depression at the time as well, and I battled with that, and I found that, you know, it was a really difficult part of my life, being so young and having that thing that I'd wanted for the last 4 or 5 years completely yanked away from me. I think being able to come back and enjoy rugby again socially and just as a sport, rather than have that pressure of professionalism there and sort of almost fall back in love with the sport and then come back through and start playing well and get picked up. So I'd gone through that and I started to really enjoy rugby again. I realised that this was something that I desperately wanted to do and I wanted to give another shot. Sat on the bench the week before for the South Africa game, didn't get on. And I wasn't really expecting to play the next week. I'd been called out as sort of injury cover. I think I was the 7th choice hooker in the country at the minute, the only one that was fit. So I wasn't expecting, to be honest, to play. And then when I did, it's funny, you get nervous beforehand, and then once you kind of get into that warm-up and the game mode, it's kind of like it just goes out of your head and you're there to do a job. So I think I got 8 minutes off the bench, and it was just a blur, to be honest. I think Alex Chokos scored pretty much in the last minute and Greg converted, and that's the only thing that I can remember from the whole time being on the pitch. It was more, you know, obviously it was a massive, massive privilege to get on and get capped, but the real sort of just appreciation of everything that I'd sort of gone through to get to that point, and then just a massive relief as well once the game had finished. You know, obviously Glasgow have been strong for the last 6 or 7 years. You know, Edinburgh sort of resurgent last year, and they've been playing really well this year. Both teams have been playing well in Europe, and then that has a knock-on effect to the national team and how well we do it at national level. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've been strong at Six Nations time, autumn international time. You know, we've been sold out for the last 10 or 11 games in a row. So you can see just there how it's not just the national team, but how sort of the whole of Scottish rugby is starting to perform well, and when that does is a real sort of pull towards the national team and demonstrates how well Scottish rugby is coming from the grassroots up. I think we're in a good place as a team, and we're building. You know, still obviously just under a year out. There's a lot of games, so there's a lot of rugby still to go. Personally, you know, I'd love to go to another World Cup. You know, I had quite a tough time last year, just being in and out with injuries. So I don't want to look too far ahead. Just trying to perform throughout the rest of the season, and if I'm fit and in good form, then yeah, the World Cup would definitely be a goal.